Lesson 45. Destroying eye shape. Part 2. In our last lesson, we learned some basic ways to destroy eye shapes. These include angle wedge, push, hang, and throw in. Extensions of these are wedge and Atari. So in this lesson, building upon these basic methods, we will further demonstrate more complex ways to destroy eye shapes. Simply put, it is about combining the methods from the last lesson together to form a multi-step approach to destroy eye shapes. In our previous lesson, the methods we discussed were basically just one move. But the methods we will cover in this lesson will involve several moves, forming a sort of combination punch to destroy the eye space. Let's first look at the angle wedge. All right, let's look at this shape. An angle wedge must be placed at the corner of the eye to destroy the opponent's eye space, or to turn the opponent's eye into a false eye. So in this current problem, it looks like there is definitely a real eye in the corner. On the outside, it looks like a big eye because it has 3 spaces. But we say this white shape is different from a true big eye. The reason is that one of its eye corners is already occupied by black. In this problem, if we follow the methods we learned before, we'll find that this position is already white's actual control point. Yes, a control point. So if black plays carelessly here, it is very likely that white will become alive. For example, if black plays Atari here and white connects, this position will become a real eye. If black then plays an angle wedge, white connects to secure a real eye. If black directly uses a throw-in, white can form a clump at this position. Next, if black destroys the eye shape in the corner, white can escape. Once white escapes, black has no way to seal white in. Obviously, with white escaping, black won't be able to capture white. And if black blocks white's escape route, white captures here. And similarly, this is a real eye, and white is alive. So, for an eye space like this, even though it looks like a big eye, we can use this angle wedge method to turn white's eye into a false eye. This is more difficult than the previous direct angle wedge to destroy an eye shape because it requires us to judge this position where white seems to occupy a 3-space big eye and see if it is actually a real eye. After black plays an angle wedge here, we can see this shape is quite interesting because black is at 1 eye corner here, 2 eye corners, 3 eye corners. facing this big eye. All three corners are wedged by black. So for white's eye space, it is actually impossible to make a real eye now. Because if white connects here later, black throws in here. Here, white doesn't need to play anymore, because playing again makes a false eye. And if white connects here, black can throw in here, which is also a false eye. So similarly, using an angle wedge to turn what looks like a big eye shape into a false eye is a relatively difficult move to play. And after the angle wedge, you must know how to throw in to destroy the eye shape. Okay, now that we've covered angle wedge and throw in, let's talk about the solid extension. Well, for example, let's set up a shape like this. All right. In this shape, we see white already has a real eye in the corner. So how should black destroy the eye space on the outside? If we use a push, as we discussed, this is playing solidly forward. Right, moving forward while staying tightly connected to your own stones. But if we use a push right now, white will play here. This is a shape we've learned before called fighting KO. It is a shape that leaves a cold fight. Now black captures the KO, and this eye is determined by fighting KO. We call this kind of life and death situation KO to survive, or simply fighting KO. But in this problem, black actually has a better move, which is a jump. After learning the push, we need to understand that a push is the safest move. The point of using a push is its safety. We stay connected and move forward steadily without being cut by the opponent. But in this problem, we can use a faster paced move, which is this jump. It is one step faster than a push, jumping directly toward the opponent's eye space. Then we calculate in our minds that if white connects, I connect back and successfully destroy the eye space. And if white tries to cut, I can capture the opponent. So this jump is actually an extension of the push, approaching the opponent's eye space at a faster speed. Besides this jump, the underneath attachment shape is also very similar. Let's look at a shape like this. In this shape, if black still plays a solid extension, white blocks, making a real eye here, and white is alive. But if we apply the logic we just discussed, this also looks like a jump position, but here we generally use the term underneath attachment more often. However, the effect is the same. It means I move faster than a solid extension and land more accurately on your eye space. Next, since white cannot cut this black stone, for example, if white tries to cut, this is a tiger's mouth. I can capture you. This way, black successfully destroys white's eye space, thereby killing white. So, Regarding the solid extension move, we must learn to use moves like a jump or underneath attachment, stepping further forward to destroy the opponent's position, which is a more efficient way to play. Speaking of underneath attachment, there is another, even more classic capturing method. In the previous lesson, we learned this shape where black plays a hen here, a very simple move that destroys the opponent's eye space. But if I change the stones a bit to look like this, notice that there is no hen now. However, this move is still valid. We now call it an underneath attachment. Still placing our stone at the position where white makes an eye shape. Next, white will certainly be unwilling to accept this and will want to capture this stone. If white plays here, after black connects back, this place is a tiger's mouth, and white can no longer cut me. And if white plays Atari here, after I play Atari, please note, I have now formed a throw-in shape. White doesn't need to play here anymore, because if white plays, black can already. When white plays here, this is already a false eye. So black, through underneath attachment and Atari, forms a throw-in shape and can still destroy this eye. We must never think that without a hen, we shouldn't dare to play at this position. For instance, playing a diagonal move allows white to block and make life, or playing a club, hoping to play a hen next, but the opponent won't give you that chance. So when encountering this shape, we must still bravely play the underneath attachment, which can still destroy his eye space. Finally, let's look at the use of the throw-in. The throw-in probably has the most combination punches